going to do the show now.
Yeah, and you're here. She knows
and
the
you're
drill.
Here.
She knows what's up.
Yeah. Yeah, the show is really just the show, and the pre-show is part of the show.
She knows exactly what's up. All we missed was the 28 months later. That's all they skipped.
Oh, yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yeah, they went days, weeks. I guess they could have gone quarters.
There you go. Semesters.
28
semesters later.
Yeah. It would be all about how the colleges got overrun. It would have been
great. Right, exactly.
That would have been great. All right.
28 fortnights later. I said it right before you typed it, Chris.
Yep, you beat him. I watched it. I saw it.
Yep.
I was here. All right, here we go. It's recording. It's time. It's time. Here comes the show, everybody, in 3, 2, 1. Whoops.
The first improvement to toilet paper as we know it since the 1880s.
Hey, what's going on this side?
The Morning Stream. We're not toys, we're action figures.
Hello, I'm muted. Good morning, everybody. You mute yourself when you have to cough, see, and then I forgot to unmute it.
Yeah, don't forget to unmute.
Like a dumbass. Hey, everybody, welcome to TMS. It is the morning stream, and the date is Tuesday, December 10th, 2024. My switch is being weird. I'm Scott, and that's Brian. Hi, Brian.
Hi. Hello.
There it
is. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
It's much darker without the music.
Time. Everybody agrees.
Yeah. The music really cheers up the lyrics.
It really does. Yeah, it really brightens it up. Who knew? Who knew that you take the music, the bouncy, jangly music behind Taylor Swift's lyrics and take them out, and it's all of a sudden a whole darker, sadder thing.
Yeah,
wow.
She's like, I don't know. She's like a dark soul.
She is.
Shouldn't say
I can't wait to use that. Eventually, it is happening for Film Sec intro. It's either going to be that or Shake It Off, or maybe I make January. What do we have? We have 4 movies in January. Maybe I make all 4 of them Taylor Swift songs. Well, as a challenge to myself.
You've done most all other musical divas. It feels like you've done, or a lot of them anyway.
I haven't done Adele.
That's true. You haven't done Adele, but you've done Britney. You've done. Madonna.
Britney? I don't think I've done Britney.
Didn't you do not Poison? What is it called? Toxic. Yeah, Poison.
No, I don't think I've done Toxic.
I thought you did.
No, I don't. No, that's one that I'm saving for something special because that is the greatest Britney Spears song of all time.
It's a pretty good song.
Yeah,
I'll give her that.
I mean, yeah, you can name one better. You can't. It's science.
Oops, I hit it again, or however it goes.
Oh,
no,
yeah, you just merged her first two hits into one song. Oops, he hit me again. One more time.
She keeps putting up videos of herself looking like she's losing her mind. I hope she's all right.
Yeah, it's like, here's a video of me running with scissors in the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just staring at the camera weird and just looking like...
Yeah, I know.
I hope she's fine, I
hope so too, but boy, yeah, maybe maybe somebody, I'm not saying the conservatorship was a good thing, but maybe Britney needs like a live-in friend.
Yeah. Conservatorship, forget it. But exactly, somebody to just be there and go, hey, Britney, put that bottle down or stop putting that needle in your arm. I'm not saying she's doing those things. I'm just saying.
You're in here first, folks. Britney doing drugs. Britney doing heroin.
Yeah.
You heard it on TMS.
I don't know if she's really doing any of those things, but just somebody around to just be your friend and help you out.
Yes.
Like your sister, Luciana Spears. Jamie Lynn Spears, not Luciana Spears.
Luciana Spears.
I mean, she seems nice. Have her help out.
The great Mexican wrestler, Luciana Spears.
That's right. They took their mask off and are no more. Anyway.
I know you watched some because we talked about it, but that bizarre Simpsons Monday Night Football game.
So weird, dude.
So freaking weird.
It's a weird thing because it's such a mixed bag because I'm part of it. So Brian, just give some context here. Last night, Brian sends me a text and say, "Hey, are you watching this Simpsons Bengals game thing they're doing over on ESPN on
Cowboys
Disney Plus?"
Yeah.
And this is the same tech they used when they did the what was the one before?
The Toy Story. The Toy Story one was the.
Oh right.
Yeah.
So they're basically doing body tracking of the players in real time and then translating that to these simpler, I'll say, not simple, but simpler 3D models, in this case, Simpsons-based models, doing stuff. So they'd swap the quarterback out for Bart or Lisa or whatever. So I tuned in as soon as Brian said it because I was just really curious, because I didn't know about it. And it is simultaneously compelling and kind of well done, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And at the same time, some of the cringiest shit I've ever seen in my life. And the cringe usually comes from the commentators who sound like pro level. They probably are these like professional commentators. Like when they did somebody come to them at the office and go, all right, you guys are on CBS this weekend. You guys over here, you're going to be doing the big NFL weekend thing over here at Fox. Oh, sorry, you drew the short straws, guys. You're doing the weird Simpsons shit on Disney Plus. Like, it just feels like they got the weird, end of the stick.
Like right, exactly. Well, if you want Christmas off,
Yeah.
you're gonna need to do the Simpsons game.
Yeah,
on,
that's
Disney
a great way of putting it. If you want these benefits we've been promising you, better go do your duty, right? And it feels like they're sitting there going, you can tell they're professional commentators.
Yeah,
they're good at what they do. This woman and these two guys, they sound like any ones you've ever heard on anything else, and they do a great job of calling the plays and all this stuff. But they have to keep inserting things. Like he'll go, oh my gosh, the Bengals have pushed it into this and that and the other thing. What would Principal Chalmers think of all that? Like, they have to
he really embiggened that play with his use of the
yeah,
pick six.
Yeah, they just have to keep putting these references in. It's almost like someone's in their ear saying, all right, make a Mo joke.
Right, but they're quick to do it. So it's not like I joke that they have a list in front of them that they have to insert these Simpsons references. But it was like when Ralph Wiggum. I gave you a gift, by the way, of how weird this was for folks who haven't seen it.
That sounds great.
I gave you, when Ralph Wiggum caught a touchdown in the end zone. The one of the commentators said he really choose to make that player. So there was some really weird way.
Oh, like choose me. You choose me.
You. Yeah, he really.
Wow.
He really decided to choose his way into the end zone or something like that. It was so ham-handed.
So the end result looks like proper video game.
It does.
Like a play happened here in a Madden mod or something.
Yes,
as you're seeing in this GIF. But what is crazy is that exactly mimicked the play that happened. Whoops.
Yes.
In the game. And did Bart throw that? Okay, Bart threw it. I thought Homer threw it, and then Homer somehow was also chasing her.
Bart threw it. And,
so they would have to remember, they'd have to alternate between the actual name of a quarterback or a receiver and then say, and Lisa's got it. Who says girls can't play football? That kind of thing.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And then in the middle of the thing, there was a thing where Marge is in the audience with a bunch of just no-name Simpsons characters, and for some reason, groundskeeper Willie is behind her and can't see through her hair. So he starts to drill it out with some tool he brought. Like, it's just an odd thing. Yeah. The worst part, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
I was going to say they definitely got Hank Azaria. Like, Hank Azaria was definitely doing some of those live voices there. Like, we're sitting over here on the sidelines and no.
Yeah.
But then there was like the person doing Ralph Wiggum. Is that one of the actors who left?
No, Ralph is from Ralph is Bart's voice. Wait.
Oh, it is. It's Cartwright. Okay. Cartwright.
I think it is Nancy Cartwright doing that voice. I think.
Okay.
I think. Not sure. The one that left did the one that just retired was Millhouse.
Yeah.
And one of the bullies with the long hair.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So they weren't there, but I think they got Cartwright to do some of it, and I think they got, like you said, Hank Azaria definitely was doing some, but then they had some real fakery shit going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Homer was definitely not Castellaneta. Castellaneta. The Marge stuff I think was pre-recorded, but I'm pretty sure that was Kavner.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that may have been. She sounds like in recent episodes. Her voice is shot, dude. It's shot.
Really?
Oh, okay. It's so bad.
Well, I mean, she has to do so much grumbly. Like that vocal fry to the max. Vocal deep fry.
Yeah.
Is what she does. Yeah. That cannot be good on your vocal cords constantly, day in, day out.
Yeah, for 35 years or however long the show is now. Plus, everybody ages, your voice changes, and
Yeah.
And like Hank is not Hank Azaria. Harry Shearer's voice is very weird now. If you go back to back, like go listen to like a season 8 episode and then immediately hear his Kent Brockman from like 2 weeks ago, it's very different.
Really?
Not in a bad way. You just tell. It's like Billy West on Futurama. You just age, Quick note here. Kim just brought this to me, so it reminded me.
Ooh, this just in. Look at this. You got this just handed to me.
This just handed to me, for real. Wow, I do that a lot, but this time I'm not faking it.
You're not faking it. You can actually say, yeah.
I got this thing from FizzGig, who I'm not 100% sure who FizzGig is if I saw his face. But he sent this thing that says, I cannot attend TMS Vegas 2025 due to other vacation plans, but wanted to still be a part of the fun somehow. Figured gifting my favorite board game for the cause would let others have a great time. Aww. He sent this, and I'm going to bring it with. I've never played this. Maybe you have. Betrayal at House on the Hill. Have you played this?
Oh, I have not, but that is a classic. Like that's a Dan Patrice like favorite.
Is it? All right.
Yeah,
I
talked to him about it today. Yeah,
something vaguely familiar about it. Maybe he's talked about it, or maybe there's versions of Betrayal that aren't like a haunted one. I don't know. Kind of how Clank has 10 different versions of Clank or whatever.
Yes, right, yeah.
Or even code names.
This might be updated. Even Stephanie says, even I like it.
Oh, hello. Stephanie, what if it was in app form?
I was gonna say it's a physical game. Stephanie likes the physical board games, right?
Yeah.
Like, is it? Yeah.
I love that the whole Stephanie meme for the entire audience is just how much she hates apps. I love it.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm bringing this Betrayal at House on the Hill. I'll bring it for our Tuesday games.
Yay!
It'll be great. Anyway, thanks to FizzGig for that, and thank you, Kim, for reminding me.
Sure. Nice.
To thank everybody for it. All right, couple things. I learned something about a thing you like.
Ooh, okay.
You like atomic fireballs. You have some sometimes.
I do. I saw that you were going to be talking about them, so I have one handy. I mean, I have a
little bowl of them, right?
I have a jar. Right?
Ah, right.
You know, this is my Cleveland Plain Dealer jar of.
You're like the Ibbott 5 and Dime. You got one of those on the counter.
It's right, a little. Yeah, but they're individually wrapped hard candies. So unlike the 5 and Dime, when you pull one out, it's not one big cluster of 25 pieces of candy all stuck together.
Oh.
But these I like. These are good. Like these, the trick is to just savor them and not crunch them. And I say all that carefully worded so that I'm not using phrases like suck on it, don't bite it.
Yeah.
So that stuff doesn't get taken out of context.
Yes.
Damn it, I did it.
Suck it, don't bite it. Yeah, remember those words.
Yeah.
So that also at your Cool 5 and Dime, I picture a nice rack of comics by the checkout.
Oh, it's one of those Hey Kids comics. It's one of those racks, the spinny racks.
Yeah, you turn it around. You're like, ooh, the latest Thor is here. But why is this old Batman still here? That's 6 months ago.
Exactly. The ears, the corners kind of bent down a little bit because they've been hanging down in the rack a little bit.
I'd come to this store all the time. I would be in there.
Yeah.
I'd get some fireballs, a Coke, and a comic. That's what I would do.
Right. And if you need a condom, they're behind me on the shelf. You just have to ask for them.
Yep. They're in my back pocket. You have to reach in there and grab them.
Not doing that.
Not doing that. Anyway, so I learned this. I learned this thing about atomic fireballs. I don't even know why this came up, but what was it? I was watching something and some kid puts one in his mouth in a movie or show or something. And I went, oh, those are those things Brian likes. And then I went, I don't even know how you make those. And then I went down this like, well, I got to go do some prep for the show. I'm going to go I'm going to learn how these are made. And this is crazy. So a couple of quick facts about atomic fireballs.
Okay.
Created in 1954. That's how old they are.
Wow.
Sounds like a 50s candy, doesn't it? 100%.
It does. Yeah, atomic fireballs. Sure. Like, stop, drop, and roll. We've got atomic fireballs on sale for a penny each.
Exactly. And it was all about aliens and spaceships. And so the word atomic and the atomic age and the atom bomb and all that stuff fit really well. So it makes sense to me when it happened. It was created by a guy named Nello Ferrera. Nello.
Oh, is there a candy? Yeah. Like, isn't there? Oh, no, I'm thinking of Ferrero is the candy company.
Oh, there is you're right. There's a Ferrero.
Yeah, but unrelated probably.
I think so. They're like the Haribo family. No, I don't know. I just make that. Anyway, so he worked at a company. It was a family-owned company called the Ferrera Pan Candy Company. And it was known for bold cinnamon spices and these other kind of things. And the way that they made candy was a pan-fried technique. So like flat stuff, suckers, this sort of thing, and they would actually cook them a lot like you would picture cooking an egg or something, except it was a bigger processes, bigger flat areas. But you would kind of pan cook everything, and because of he thought the combo here would be take these cinnamon spice thing that they were already famous for with a lot of their confectionery stuff, add that to somehow figure out how to get it in a ball that kids would just go nuts and buy these like crazy, and they did. And they were like 2 cents a piece in a jar like you've got, and you just
sure, big jar, yeah.
grab a
Those
bunch or whatever.
Back then, probably not individually wrapped. Like your kids reach in, they're touching 12 atomic fireballs to get the one they want.
That's right. And they were all going home with polio, but they didn't care.
We liked it.
It was good.
It was good. We liked it that
So
way.
here's what they did. It is crafted using hot pan method, which is what they referred to with this other candy.
Okay.
And then they would roll it around. They get it in a ball, and they would roll it around until that hard shell stayed hard on the outside. And the way that it's not a coating of another coating of like shell candy on top of whatever's inside. It's actually the seared outside of the same candy that makes that outer shell. And changes the color. Later they would add some color, but back then it was a little more swirly and uneven, but you would kind of create that color from the heat. And they say that the same original recipe that they used then is still in use today, just in a mass production way, but it's the exact same process. So Brian, there is some cool history.
There is some really cool history of the atomic fireball.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
When I enjoy one later today, when I'm neglecting other work and working further on my app, then I will I will think about the seared outside of this atomic fireball.
It also made me think that how surprised I am that nobody sent us the Coca-Cola Oreos to try on the show when those were
Oh yeah, no kidding, because I have the Oreo Coca-Cola.
Yeah, how is that? Is that bad?
Mary,
is that good? Is that terrible? Like, I don't know what to think about it.
It's not bad. I mean, chocolate Coke has always been a thing. Like back when soda fountains, when I had my 5 and dime and I was selling the penny candy and the rack of comics.
Yeah.
In addition to a cherry Coke, which was you got a Coke and they just squirted some cherry into it. You could also do a chocolate Coke. And
didn't know that was ever a thing. Wild.
Yeah, and they're it's good, but it's different for sure.
Yeah. I mean, does it these are zeros.
It tastes like an Oreo. There's zero. And the good thing about it is it comes in those teeny cans, so you're not making a commitment to a big can.
Okay, good. So it's a little I would try it. It just sounds so weird. It sounds like such a strange thing. And some people hear it and go, "Ooh, chocolate and Coke," and I hear it and go,
"Yeah,
ugh, doesn't sound right."
Yeah, I mean, I like it better than the spiced Coke Zeros.
Yeah, I don't like those. Those are bad.
But I'm glad it's the small can, because I feel like a full can or a bottle would definitely be too much.
Yeah, Spice Coke, bad idea. They made a mistake. It's terrible. Real bad.
And wow, Chuck, not a fan, says the Coke Oreos and the Oreo Cokes are horrible.
Coke Oreos is what I'm curious about, because how do you have a thing flavored like Coca-Cola in a cookie form? It just doesn't seem right. That's like me spending months trying to find carbonated meat. I'm never going to find the right combo there to make it work, and I don't think this is. It just feels like a mistake. But we would try them on the show, is what I'm saying, and nobody. Sure. Usually somebody's on that. We didn't have anybody do it.
It used to be Mary Heisenberg was our.
Oh yeah, what happened to Heisenberg?
I don't know, or Heidelberg.
Oh yeah, Heisenberg. She would have. Jesse finally got away.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Science.
Oops. Mary, if you're out there, how you doing? We hope you're well. And B, somebody, if you can get your hands on, I think they're gone now, right?
It
was a limited run.
I think so. I think ever since you said you're off the Shug, people have stopped sending us Shug treats to eat.
Because the way they work now, I can taste them or test them, but I have to give the rest to somebody else. I can't eat them.
Yeah.
I can take a bite of one, but that's about
Nick has to fulfill his duties of eating everything that people send to us, sometimes before you get a chance to.
Yep. That's right. He does that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised
way,
this board game didn't get played before I got to show it.
No kidding.
Yeah.
By the way, Monica, there's actually a Coca-Cola spiced, and it's not the cranberry one. It's like a weird,
It's so bad.
a weird spiced flavor. Yeah, that one I'm not a fan.
It was
of.
supposed to be like a bite to it, or like a
like a cinnamony kind of thing to it. I don't know.
It's a horrible failure. It was really bad.
Yeah.
They're also their Coke 3000 or whatever it was called, also bad.
Oh, really? I don't think I ever had the Coke 3000.
It was like some kind of weird future-y thing. I still have a couple bottles in the garage. I cannot bring myself to drink them. I freaking hate them.
Yeah.
They're gross. But I'll tell you what is okay that I didn't think I was going to like. Coke Zero No Caffeine, which is a hard combo to find. You can find...
I've been looking for that.
Yeah.
I've not... Yeah, you're telling it's a hard combo to find.
Hard.
I've never seen it, or else I'd buy it.
We bought as soon as we saw an 8-pack or whatever those are now.
Yeah.
We grabbed it, and I haven't seen one since, so I'm slowly going through it. But they're great
Yeah.
because you're like, I don't want to overdo the caffeine, but I like the Coke, and I need the Zero, so let's have a fridge full of those. But they're just rare. It's a rare beast. I like those though. They're good. They do taste different though. So I've always been of the opinion that Coke or the caffeine doesn't bring a flavor to anything, but it absolutely does.
It does. You can definitely tell the difference. I can definitely see why you tell the difference.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You can get caffeine-free Coke Zero fridge pack bundle, 12 fluid ounce 2-pack on Amazon. Arrives before Christmas, but how many is it? I know it's 12-ounce cans, but how many cans is it?
Was it like
Is
an
it-
8-pack or a 12? Something like that?
Looks like it's 2 12-packs.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
So 24 cans for $32. So, yeah, it's not bad.
It's not terrible. I mean,
$1.50 each.
if I go
Is
to...
that-
Yeah, I think that's about right. When I go to Smith's, man, pre-pandemic, I could get a whole sleeve of these things for like a 12-pack for like $5. Now I go there, same exact store, $8.50 to $9 per sleeve.
It's just not
What,
right.
what are you doing, Coke? I know that you. I promise you this. Their ingredients or process or whatever, nothing went up. That was 100% them going, we can do it, so let's do it.
Right. Yeah, totally is.
Hate
Without a
it.
doubt.
Greedflation, I hate it. Hate it.
I still can't tell. It's funny. It's like even showing me the front of the box. Is it 12-ounce cans?
I think those are usually, that's pretty standard, isn't it? I think.
It is.
I could be wrong on that, though. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what ours are.
Yeah, it's definitely not a 6-pack. I was just wondering if it was like 2 24-packs, which would be great. What a great deal that would
I also found Tropical 7-Up
be. There it is,
Zeros.
12. Yes.
Tropical 7-Up Zeros, very good, very good, yeah.
That does sound good.
Recommend it. It's a refreshing lunchtime beverage,
Nice.
you might say.
Nice.
Quick follow-up on the sauce, the salt or pasta that keeps the sauce intact more.
Yeah.
This is
Sauce-friendly
interesting.
pasta.
Yeah, we got word from within your state. This is from Luke from Boulder. We hear from all the time. Luke says about the newly created pasta. The pasta was created in service and by a podcast. I got all kinds of. I got stuff to say after this because why are we not making up a food? You know what I mean?
We should. Well, like the Doggerito, Scott needs to become the needs to become a thing. The
That's right.
Hormel Doggerito or something.
Yeah,
Like
we need a new standard that everybody buys. Right.
Right.
It says, I'm usually not one for the Radio Lab style of podcasts. I actually am, so I'm looking forward to this. But
Yeah, me too.
he says, but the story here is very interesting, and my wife and I use the cascatelli. Is that how you say it? Cascatelli?
Cascatelli. Yeah.
Cascatelli pasta all the time, says Luke. I didn't know it was created as an experiment on a show.
I didn't either, but that's great.
Yeah. He didn't. The problem
which-
is he didn't give me...
He didn't say. Let's see. Dan Pashman, the American food podcaster Dan Pashman, collaboration with the New York pasta company Scolini. Scolini. There's an F after the S, but I don't think it's pronounced Sfoglini.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Sporkful. There it is. The Sporkful podcast.
Sporkful. Wow. That's a big deal. He doesn't even have his own Wikipedia page, but he invented a pasta. Good Lord.
Yeah.
That's
No kidding. It's funny. He does it, and there's not even a podcast or a page for the Sporkful podcast. They invented a pasta. These guys should absolutely have his own Wikipedia page. Come on now.
Okay, here's a website. Wait, the latest show was the 2020? No, that can't be right.
Oh, well, he's living off that pasta money now.
I was going to say, yeah, living large off pasta now.
Eating.
Who needs podcasting when you made a new pasta? He's in
That's right,
pasta
exactly.
casting now. That's what he does now.
Pasta casting. Right?
Yeah, he's a pasta fader. That's what he is.
Pastas you love. People you trust.
Dan Pashman has quite the unit. All right. Well, anyway, that's all she wrote for some pre-show or some pre-news talk. But now we have the news, and we have to talk about it. So here we go. Time for the news, brought to you by
Herodotus. I'm sure I pronounced that wrong. Herodotus. I'm sure that's wrong too. Herodotus.
Herodotus.
Let's say that.
I think. Isn't it?
Herodotus.
I think so. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Now that you say it,
A
I don't
Dorian
know.
born who fled from Slander's brand and made in Thuria his new native land.
Yep, there you
This
go.
is your video game thing, right? It's a Scott video game.
I wish
thing.
it was. No, So while I was looking at your Fireball thing, I came across this whole thing about this Herodotus guy, who was an ancient, born in Persia, but then spent most of his time in Greece. I'm trying to remember the exact origin. Anyway, he's considered one of the forefathers of any kind of history, like keeping history. We're talking like 340 BC or something.
He is history's historian, or he is the
Yeah. And everybody thought he was making up shit, but now modern historians think he was actually accurate in his stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
People
wow,
of his
cool.
time that were like, yeah, this isn't happening. You're lying or whatever. It was cool. So I just
is
thought,
really cool.
I'll just
Good
slip
for
that
him.
guy in here. It's a weird thing to put in news, but whatever. All right, check this out. Traffic chaos. I had another story like this yesterday. Traffic chaos caused by 30,000 pounds of melted chocolate on the Bay Area Highway.
wow.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, if you were,
Is it dark chocolate? Do we know? Did you say
let's
milk
see.
chocolate?
I don't know. Did they say here? It just says melted.
chocolate. Melted chocolate.
I mean, I guess milk melts at a lower temp, so maybe.
Yeah.
It says big rig carrying chocolate in the East Bay caught on fire Friday morning. I don't know why I said Monday. Causing hours of traffic chaos during the busy commute hours. The fire happened around 6:18 a.m. on westbound Interstate 580 near Giant Line Road. Oh, Grant Line. Sorry, Grant.
Oh, I like the name, Giant Line Road.
Yeah.
Like they looked at a map and said, what should we call this giant line? How about Giant Line Road?
Yeah, just Giant Line Road. And no one will ever get lost. It's right there. Big giant line. Just follow it. Tyler Hahn, a spokesperson for the California Highway Patrol, told SF Gate. That's Chips. Another Chips story.
Yes.
The blaze happened because of a mechanical issue, which first set the truck on brakes on fire, just like yesterday's weird thing.
Yeah.
With the chickpeas. The blaze then spread to the tires and the rest of the truck. Approximately 30,000 to 40,000 pounds of chocolate were in the trailer, and nearly all of it appeared to melt. He said a photo posted on Chip's X account showed loads of chocolate oozing out of the truck. You guys got to look at this image here.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, look at that. Ooh, I would not want to go taste it, Here, chat. You guys can
Wow,
see it.
that we get, because I live right by the mountains, and when you come down I-70 from the mountains into Denver, it's a steep grade, and there's a lot of signs up there telling trucks to slow down, drop to a lower gear, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more serious than blah blah blah.
Yeah, we're gonna blah 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 that away, but we get it. We understand.
But there's even signs once you get further, like closer to Arvada, that say you're not done yet. The equivalent of you're not done yet. There's still more hill. Don't get out of your lower gear just yet. But drivers will ignore that, and they will ride their brakes, and they'll smoke, and they'll catch on fire. And there's a stretch of highway by kind of the closest part of I-70 to our house that frequently has trucks on the side that look a little bit like this. Sometimes they're not just the shell of the truck or like just the frame of the truck.
Yeah.
You kind of get the side is all burnt out, or the back is open and it's like all burnt out and stuff coming out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, people, come on.
Be careful.
Truckers, pay attention to those signs.
Yeah, truckers. Who's our truck guy? He always calls in. I forgot his name.
Yeah, we have a truck guy.
Well,
we know a truck guy.
You know what? We'd love to hear from him or anyone like him who can tell us. I'm sure there's some like rules you have to follow, but also probably some just wisdom about what to do and where, and don't do this and don't do that or whatever. Because it just seems like if you know what your payload is, and you know what declines are going to do to your brakes,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feels like maybe you'd know better, but maybe not.
I assume, and this, that because this is such a major problem with trucks and brakes, or just not problem, but something to be aware of, that you've got to have some sort of like alert on your dashboard. Hey, your brakes are getting really hot. Drop down to a lower gear or something like that. But
Yeah, the trucks themselves, I think, are more technologically advanced anyway now with sensors and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not just some old, like the 70s.
These aren't 70s trucks.
I hope not. Anyway.
What about technology?
Exactly. Anyway, I hope the local wildlife enjoy the smell of chocolate for the next 6 years and not knowing where to get it.
Because once that gets into the grass and the dirt, you're not getting rid of that smell.
Nope. It's like going to McDonald's and coming home. I did that the other day. I don't remember what we did. Oh, we just got ice cream cones. But I came home and I smelled like fries, and the dogs went nuts because I smelled like fries.
So the ice cream machine was working. Whoa.
Yeah, I know, right? That was crazy. It was working.
Yeah.
And every time we go to this one location, it's always working. And here's the funny is when we ask, I always ask, is your ice cream machine working?
Yeah.
And they always say, oh, yeah, we're good. And they do it every time, and they've never had a problem. So they're bucking the trend.
Even if you're not getting ice cream, like let's say you're just going there to pick up a Happy Meal for Van. It's like, hey, is your ice cream machine working?
Oh,
yes, it is.
should.
So what can I get for you? Happy Meal.
I should. I've never done that, but I should. I get like, yeah, is it working? Yes. Okay, give me 3 chicken Big Macs.
Right. Exactly.
See you later. Well, anyway, let's see what else we got. Record-breaking couple got married in their 100s. They got married in their 100s. Yep. Pretty crazy. 202 years between them.
Wow.
Which is quite a feat, I suppose. After the loss of their original spouses, both these 2.0 people moved into the same senior living community in Philly, not expecting to find love again, let alone a few doors down. But after 9 years of companionship and lots of doing it.
Lots of 4 p.m. doing it before dinner.
That's right. Dinner's in 5. Let's go, Henrietta. They tied the knot, becoming the oldest married couple with a combined age of 202 years old plus 271 days.
Nice.
Their journey began as a costume party on their floor, where Bernie and Marjorie.
Marjorie, yeah. Majorie.
I mean, you take out the IE and it's major, but
right.
You'd think my brain would see Marjorie. Anyway, they immediately clicked. I'm trying to make more of it.
That wasn't just their walkers banging into each other.
Oh, I love that idea, though. Clink!
Get out of my way! Yeah.
Their first date.
Really kicked here.
The first date coincided with the birth of one of Bernie's great-granddaughters, marking the start of a relationship that would blossom over time. Interestingly, though, although they attended the University of Pennsylvania around the same time, their paths never crossed back then. Well, yeah, it's a huge school. You don't meet everybody. That's not how it works. He studied engineering. Marjorie became a teacher, and life simply took them on different paths until they met at the senior living facility. His granddaughter, Sarah Sicherman? Sykerman?
Maybe Sykerman, maybe?
Maybe
Sarah
Sykerman?
Sykerman.
Sure. Silverman.
Sure.
Oh, she's the comedian.
Sykerman.
There you go. Sickerman. Sickerman. On social media, she says, with so much sadness and fear in the world, it's nice to share something that brings people simple joy. She added, today my 100-year-old father, married his 102-year-old girlfriend. They both, she's robbing the cradle a little bit.
No kidding.
Good Lord. They both had 60-plus years of marriage with their first spouses and found love again at 100. So congratulations, you old prunes. You did it.
That's right. Bernie and Marjorie.
Yeah. I hope you live another couple of months.
Enjoy your honeymoon at Denny's.
Yep. And then don't try to do it on your wedding night, or you might die. Right. Final story. Man eats 4.9 million euros worth of a piece of banana artwork. You heard about this? You hear about this? You hear about this?
I saw some talking about it on John Oliver. This like the way John Oliver phrased it is, if you can imagine what somebody who would spend $6 million on a piece of artwork that is a banana nailed to a board would look like, here's a photo. You are 100% correct.
Yep. It is not at all. It leaves nothing to the imagination. It's exactly what you think it is. In fact, here's the image, guys. This is the picture. Here he is. This is a crypto bro. Cryptocurrency entrepreneur, they call him, has kept his promise and eaten a banana he bought for $6.2 million. That's U.S., so even more than you were thinking with the 4.9 million euro. Justin's son, not Justin apostrophes son, but Justin space son.
Justin's son.
Plus, Justin has a daughter now. That's how this works. Anyway.
Yes, exactly.
Snapped up a viral piece of our piece called Comedian, consisting of a single banana duct taped to a white wall in an auction at Sotheby's in New York last week. The Chinese-born businessman immediately revealed his plan to destroy the artwork by eating the fruit as a snack at the news conference today. He delivered on his word. 34-year-old, he should not have this kind of money at that age, took a bite and told reporters it's much better than the other bananas. It's really quite good. Oh, shut up.
So I don't understand.
Yeah.
So they showed this thing at an art festival in 2019.
Yeah.
How is it not black and shriveled up and gross in 2024 when he bought it?
I agree. I don't know if they
Did
keep
keep
swapping
replacing
it.
the banana, and if so, just keep replacing the banana, and it really doesn't matter, right?
This is one of those cases. I'm a big proponent of the arts of all kinds,
sure.
but this is horse shit.
It is absolutely horseshit.
It's a banana taped to a wall, and Brian's right. Bananas don't last more than a week off the bunch without turning all brown and gross. So do they keep changing it? Is it preserved somehow? Like, they don't say any of this in the article. None of it's talked about. But
Dr. Calhoun says he bought the right to recreate the artwork, not the original banana. So basically, he basically bought an NFT of a banana stuck to a wall. It just happens to be tangible, but it's replicatable. But there's only one that matters. It's the one he spent the money on.
Yeah, it's a TNFT. It's a tangible, tangible non-fungible token.
That's right. Yes.
And that makes it even dumber. I think this is so dumb. If this is just you get to recreate it, so that means he can go do this again somewhere else, tape it up, eat it again.
Yeah.
This is, you know how they used to they used to teach us.
What is up, world?
When we were kids, they'd talk about Romans and the debauchery of high society and Roman whatever. Yeah. People in vomitoriums or giant orgies or whatever they were, just living like weirdos at the top. I feel like we're getting there again, man.
Yeah, no kidding.
They're all
we're all close to drinking Brondo and electing President Macho Camacho. Like imagine the headline he gets. This is like a 2-minute headline, right?
Yeah.
Man eats $6.2 million banana.
Yeah.
Great. What funny stuff. He's going to be on the news at the last 5 minutes of every local news broadcast. And a man who spent $6 million on a banana just ate it.
Yeah.
Imagine you donate that $6.2 million to cancer research. A cryptocurrency entrepreneur has donated a record-breaking $6.2 million to cancer research or Alzheimer's research or MS or something like that. You move up in the number one. You feel better about yourself than just spending $6.2 million Brewster's Million style on a banana you're going to eat. But you also
I like that as a term.
Yeah, but you also, you get the notoriety of being somebody who didn't do something stupid, which I think is more important.
I agree with you. I completely agree with you. And you see this happen all the time. The guy that bought the $10,000 supposed Taylor Swift guitar, and it turns out it wasn't even hers. It was a fake.
Oh, really? I didn't hear about that. That's great.
He brought it just so he could smash it. He was all mad at her for supporting the candidate he didn't like. And so he buys this thing at an auction, immediately smashes it, and later everyone found out it wasn't even real. It's like, dude, I'm just saying, like, at some point it becomes so much. And this is somebody who's got this 34-year-old dude. He's got money based on kind of nothing.
Yeah, kind of. Right, exactly.
All right? Like, cryptocurrency, I understand all the arguments for, against. I understand it. I get it. But in a lot of ways, it's empty calories. It's just sort of nothing. And it can change one day to the other. Value can change just wildly.
Totally.
So if I had that kind of money, if I had $6.2 million, I promise you it's not on a banana I can eat in front of everybody.
Right, exactly.
That's not even the real banana.
No, exactly. It's it's this week's banana.
I don't know, dude.
When the great EMT explosion of 2027 happens and we're left powerless, he's going to be broke.
Yeah, he'll have nothing.
He'll have nothing.
He'll have nothing. He'll have some hard drives with some data on it.
Right, that he can't access.
That he can't fire up.
There's no electricity.
Yeah,
So.
it's effed up. This stuff's effed up.
Meanwhile, I will have all these toys.
Yes. You can flip people off with the hand of many
My bartering
gems.
system is all Funko. I'll give you how much is that bag of flour? That's 6 Funkos, sir. I'll take 2 bags, please.
I'll trade you this uncharged video game machine that no longer works for some of your Funkos.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I got these drink coasters from an event we did in Las Vegas before it turned into a zombie hell.
I have a VR headset that's probably got 2 hours of power left. So enjoy it.
Yep. I look forward to those terrible days. All right, well, that's it for the news. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Dan, the tabletop man, will be here, probably with a good Christmas recommendation for a board game.
Oh, I'll bet. Yeah.
And you can tell me a little more about this betrayal. I want to understand. Anyway, that's all coming up soon. Our inevitable betrayal. But before that, Brian brought a song, and he'll play it now, I think.
I did, and ripped from today's headlines. So Scott and I have both been playing the brand new NetEase game from Marvel called Marvel Rivals.
Yep.
And the Syndicate sent me a song to play from the album, from the official soundtrack. Big thanks to Allie, over there at the Syndicate. This is, the coffee burps.
Yeah.
This is Chrissy Costanza. Costanza. Chrissy Costanza, who's got a brand new song from the soundtrack called Rivals Till the End. You can actually hear the whole soundtrack, and the rest of it is all cool, kind of backgroundy, orchestral, kind of, themed music for each of the different zones, each of the different environments that you play in. It's really, really cool. And some of the character music.
Oh, nice.
It's great. Good background music. Anyway, she's the front woman of the band Against the Current, but this is a solo project from her. It is Rivals Till the End. Here is Chrissy Costanza.
I need to get to Staten Island.
What? Gross. Why?
Ever hear of Planet of the Apes?
We've come back, and now Brian will tell you who that song was by and from.
I will. That's Chrissy Costanza and a song called Rivals Till the End. Comes from the soundtrack Marvel Rivals Galactic Tunes, original video game soundtrack, which just came out, of course, last week when the game came out.
I'm excited because I love video game music. Huge fan.
Video game soundtrack music. This is good stuff too. I listened to some of it yesterday, and it is so good. I also started listening to an album from Bear McCreary called The Singularity, which features his brother Brendan McCreary, who and several members of Oingo Boingo, like the drummer, guitarist.
No way.
No Elfman. But you got Johnny Vados on drums, Steve Bartek on guitar. It's really cool, and his brother pulls off a pretty good Elfman.
That's
sound.
crazy. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
I'm a big McQuarrie fan. The guy makes nothing but cool TV and video game soundtracks. But
God, he really does. Yeah. It's amazing.
BSG to start with. That stuff is so good.
Yes.
All right. Well, everybody, you know what time it is. It's this time. Oh, I don't have it handy. There it is.
Here's a tangent for you. Be careful. May cause drowsiness.
It's that time of the month, where Dan shows up and gives us cool ideas. Dan, the tabletop man. Hello, Geek Jock. What are you doing?
Greetings, programs, and happy holidays, everybody. It is truly the most wonderful time of the year.
It can be.
The most wonderful time of the year.
You know what I wish it would do, though, is quit. Everyone I know is sick. I'm getting over a head cold sinus thing. Like, what's with all that? Come on, man. Let's go.
This is, you finally get cold and everybody starts going out and shopping. Nobody's really washing their hands enough. And
wearing a mask, none of that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, and then you're inside so much, for the last few years, so our immunities are all over the place. We just got to have that, hopefully the earlier in the season, around Thanksgiving, just go ahead and get sick and then hopefully then you're good for the rest of the month at least.
Yeah.
There's always a bunch of bugs going around, but hopefully if you can get over it and be good to go. My kids were both sick when we saw them at Thanksgiving. and I'm hoping to stay healthy because I'm going up to Maine to visit DJ this week to watch him play some hockey, and then next week too we're all going up to watch him. So all that traveling, we're screwed.
Yeah,
We're
you're
gonna be
hosed,
sick.
dude. You're hosed. My wife somehow is the only person in the entire family and extended family didn't catch this like sinus thing, and I still am not sure it's not gonna hit her like a ton of bricks because she just she's not immune. But
Yeah.
But for all the rest of us been sick, I'm feeling way better. Here's a question for you though, Dan.
Yeah.
2 questions. One, as a guy in the pharmaceutical world, is there a daily cold medicine that actually you recommend? Do you know what I mean? Because you're always like, you look at the shelf and go, oh, there's Dayquil, there's this, there's that. And I don't really trust any of them to do much. I don't feel like they dent the can very well, like in terms of just making you feel much better. So do you have one of those in your back pocket where you're like, oh, what you need is a combination of zinc and these 4 other little weird things. Like, what do you do?
Well, so there's a few ways to handle that. So now bear with me here. So the first thing I like to say is, you said, quote unquote, I'm going to use your quotes here, Scott, daily medicine. Now, I don't want anybody to take everything every day. Now, there are people that talk about allergies all year round. Now, I don't really like people taking allergy medicine all year round because you want something to work when you really need it to work.
You don't
And
desensitize.
typically, you're going to have ebbs and flows of that. So I also like people to kind of rotate your allergy medicine. So in the spring, maybe take your Zyrtec, your cetirizine for a few months, get a little bit of a break, maybe take some loratadine in the summer. These things kind of work in, there's similar ways, but sometimes just the molecules will help to kind of, trick your body a little bit so that you're not taking the same thing all the time and getting a break. Now, when it comes to cough and cold season, like we're in now and flu season and such, there's not anything you can quote unquote recommend because I like to treat the symptoms. I don't like just to treat everything. You want to treat what's actually going on. So down here, like Scott, you were talking about like kind of an upper respiratory bug that's going around with the sniffles and such. Down here right now, for whatever reason, there's kind of a stomach bug that's been going rampant. Down here in the southeast, where it's more nausea, vomiting, and just trying to keep yourself hydrated and stuff. So if you've got some diarrhea, there's kind of a couple of schools of thought as far as just let it run its course because you want that better out than in, so to speak.
Yeah, you always want that. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the out. Rather have it out than in. But also that's norovirus, right? That's the one that's going around. That's so nasty.
I think most of the upper respiratory stuff is going to be norovirus. There's going to be different types of the stomach bugs are going to be a little bit different, what they're caused. But really what you're going to do is just want to keep plenty of fluids, let your body do its own thing. Now, for what you've got going on, you're going to want more or less an antihistamine. Now, you're going to want something like, again, kind of like those allergy medicines. You're going to want a cetirizine, which is a Zyrtec, or fexofenadine, which is an Allegra. And you really have to, since every brand name, this is really what's kind of one of those weird things. I think I've talked about this in our Discord before, where there's so many, since everybody loses patents, they may call it something. Like even nowadays, they're still calling things Zantac, but it's not Zantac anymore. Like they're still using the brand name, but they're using Pepsid, the main ingredient of what is Pepsid, in some of the Zantac because you can't use the main ingredient of Zantac anymore because it's been taken off the market. So you have to just
that's
always look at
is that the stuff we talked about recently, the stuff that doesn't work or whatever, or they declassified?
Oh no, that's your phenylephrine, I believe, is that's been taken off. That's more for sniffles and stuff like that.
Okay.
And you know what? I don't know. I've seen and I've taken some of those, and I feel like saying something doesn't work, but also things like wafenicin, really, the jury's still really out, and everybody takes Robitussin all the time. That's what helps, and Mucinex and everything else. Like that's even, arguable whether it's been even proven to be work better than water. Water helps it's natural expectorant, and that's what you're using guafenicin for, is to break everything up in your lungs and to get it out. Right. But I still take Mucinex. I mean, it still kind of works, but again, it's all the different things. But things like phenylephrine, when used in a nasal spray, does actually work. It just doesn't work necessarily orally because of the bioavailability of it in the gut and such. So things like nasal sprays. So what you got, if you've got some congestion and you want to use some of those different nasal sprays, whether it be oxymetazoline or even a phenylephrine or even just saline, those are great to use, but do not use those for a long period of time, because what happens is you're going to get some rebound congestion. Is because a lot of times anything you do to your body's going to try to fight back against. So when you're using these decongestants, your body's going to clamp down. So if you use them for more than 3 to 4 days, the congestion's going to come back and you're going to think you're really just sick. You're going to want to use more and more and more, and it's just going to this vicious cycle of just being congested. So use it for 3 to 4 days, because they generally work really well to help open you up. Then you got to kind of stop it for a while and let your body clear everything out and then feel better. Antihistamines will help dry everything up. The decongestants will help open everything up. And it's generally a good combination to use, and then just let your body just take care of what is generally probably an infection that's going on, for especially the upper respiratory stuff.
I mean, you're basically Dr. Patrice, really, at the end of the day.
Well, I am Dr. Patrice,
Yeah.
but I'm just not that type of doctor.
No,
I'm not. Seinfeld would have a field day with pharmacists too.
Could you, if you wanted to, though? Let me ask you this. This is a dumb question, but let's say you just walked into somebody's family practice. You knew the guy. And he says, "Hey, I need to. I'm going to lunch real quick. Can you just man the place?" And you'd say, "Sure." And then a patient comes in and says, "Yeah, I'm here to get my proctology exam." Could you legally say, "All right, well, plastic glove on, bend over the thing. I'm gonna put my finger up your hole"? Could you do that? Are you allowed?
No. So what we can do, and so what's interesting is there's a lot of what's called collaborative practice. I mean, I'm sure I could stick a finger up a hole. It ain't going to do you a whole lot of good, but.
I don't want to kink
But
shame.
we're willing to give it a try.
Yeah.
But we're willing to learn.
Yeah.
If you're on a plane and somebody says they're a doctor on board and a general practitioner doesn't respond, are you able to step in?
This is so much of a better question, by the way. Such a better question.
It is probably
I'm not kidding.
in my conscience. In my conscience, I better step up and try and help out. Because a lot of times what you're going to be doing is just handling the situation, or even more or less just doing like a CPR type thing, where you're more or less just triaging what's going on when you're on a plane like that. So you're triaging what's going on, and then you may even have, again, collaborative, because there's so many nurses out in the world. There's probably a nurse that's on there, and chances on, depending on where they work, he or she may know a little bit more of what's going on than I would do. But pharmacists are all about treatment. Doctors are all about diagnosis. So that's why when collaborative practices, like when I did rotations or even worked in hospital setting, the doctors would be the ones that'd be like, "All right, so this is what's wrong with Brian. Dan, what do we use to treat it?" And that's the best way to do practice.
Okay.
Is by and a lot of times I would get, when I worked in for Cardinal Health, when I was working overnights, doctors are going to write a note. They're going to be like, "All right, vancomycin per pharmacy," or we've got this. Here's this culture and sensitivity. Go dosing by pharmacy, and then we would have to go through the labs and see what's going on, and then we would be the ones doing the dosing for those type of things, and we would be writing the order for the and the doctor's underwriting it. So that's the best time. And I even did rotations in general practice where I'd be going into the office with the doctor, and we'd be talking about, all right, what's the best way to handle this, because of what the patient's history is, their allergies, or what they're currently on. Because a lot of times. You ever go into the doctor's office and the first thing you're doing is you're waiting forever just for them to come in.
Yeah.
And then they're going to come in and they'll be like, "Scott, your hole doesn't look great. I got to see what's going on." And then they leave for another 20 minutes. What they're doing for the other 20 minutes is being like, "Oh my God, what am I going to use for this?"
Yeah.
They're probably consulting different books and stuff. And then, and maybe even if they have a pharmacist on staff or something like that, they may come back, they may consult with them and then come back and be like, "All right, so what we really need, Scott, is some Imodium, because we got to get you, get all that diarrhea stopped."
We got to end that nightmare. So, okay, but let's go back to the plane for a second. I'm going to make it worse.
Okay.
You're in the plane. Someone says, "Is there a doctor? Is there a doctor?" Now, you could Larry David this and go, "What's the problem?" And they would go, "Well," if they said something like they're grabbing their heart and they can't breathe very well, you'd hop right up, you'd be right there. But if they said he's got the laser shits and it's cutting a hole in the hull of the plane, and it's everywhere, you're not gonna. You may be going, "Do I tell him I'm a guy that I have some, you know what I mean?" Like maybe you
Right.
wouldn't. Maybe you'd be less. I'm not prejudging what Dan would do in an emergency situation. I'm just saying if it was me and I knew it was the laser shits, I probably would be less inclined to run over there quickly and help out. You know what I mean?
No, so I've been in a situation before where somebody's, you're on a plane and somebody's like, "Is there a doctor in the house?" And the first thing you do is you look around like crazy, like you're about to tell a racy joke. You're just looking left and right, and you're looking all over the place. You're like, "Somebody please step up, so I don't have to." I don't have to step up, because the last thing you want to do is step up and be wrong or not have a clue. Be like, "Yeah, I'm a doctor," and be like, "Oh, my pacemaker is making all these weird noises." I'm sorry, dude. I have no idea what to tell you. You know?
Yeah. Here, take a Tylenol. It's all I can tell you. That's great.
Yeah. Do you have your antiarrhythmics with you? That's about all I could ask, and make sure you got something with it. You know.
Well, what you really hope for is a nice packed flight, and Tolbert's on some seat and you're in another seat, so we got the drugs and we got the family doctor taken care of. Somebody else is maybe a surgeon. That way they're not relying on guys like me and Ibbottâ to do anything, and you guys can all take care of it.
And what most people think is, so when you say, "Was there a doctor in the house?" You'd be like, "Oh, is there a doctor and a pharmacist in the house?" So they're just assuming that a doctor's going to step up. They're going to have this bag that's going to have every tool imaginable in it, and then I'm going to step up and I'm going to have a whole pharmacy hanging out of my my coat, where I'm going to
open it up, bunch of shots.
You hold it open,
Colbert's over there with a scalpel and a stethoscope, and I'm over here with a couple of nitroglycerin ready to go.
That's it's a thing I can imagine. All right, now a question about board games. Somebody in our fandom sent us Betrayal at House on the Hill. Have you recommended this before? Has this been a thing that we've talked about?
I think it's been years since I recommended it. It's an excellent game. What's really cool about that game, and that's probably, does it say 3rd edition on there? So it's probably
let's see.
The newest one.
It says...
I think it's right under the name in the front.
Oh, sorry. Let's see. Yes, 3rd edition. Is that good? Is that bad? What does that mean?
Really good. That's one of the most recent ones.
That's when they introduced rules.
And it rejiggers the rules a little bit to make it a little bit easier. So some of the things that happened in the old Betrayal at House on the Hill. So what Betrayal at House on the Hill is basically a really cool kind of story game, and there's a bunch of different scenarios in it. And let's just say the three of us and Kim are playing. We're going to be just regular old players going in, and we're going to be like, "Oh, so Ibbottâ lost his teddy bear, and we got to go into this haunted house for whatever reason to find Ibbottâ's teddy bear." So as we're going around the house looking at things, you're going to be uncovering other parts of the story that are going to happen. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of the game, it may be like, you're going to get a card that could be like, "Johnson, you're secretly Ibbottâ's ex-lover and wants to kill him." Something like that.
Wow.
Be like, you're secretly the betrayer.
Okay.
So so you're now the one that's trying to screw with everybody. Now it's all what the problem was when like one of the original editions is kind of some of the setup rules were a little wonky. So if you set it up wrong, you would totally screw the whole thing, because you may not have the item that you're looking for is not in the deck. There's no betrayer. Somebody forgot to put the betrayer in the deck. So it makes it a lot easier now to set the things up.
Okay.
But it's a lot of fun because it's so much fun to play this game. But what you have like a diminishing return in game with this. So you want everybody to know what's going on. So the first game may not be great, but then the second game's great because everybody knows like how to play the game. Because sometimes you're like, if you don't know what's going on, and maybe you have Uncle Remus that's like, "I just got this card that says I'm the traitor. What do I do now?" Like, you can't, because now it just ruins everything.
Uncle Remus, I love it. By the way, this smells amazing. You know how a new board game smells?
Yeah.
When you've just opened it, it's that paint
smell is so good.
Factory fresh. Oh man. I know those are chemicals and stuff, and I probably shouldn't like it, but I love it. Love it.
It's so good. And then what they also put out was Betrayal Legacy, which would be like a 13 scenario thing where it's Betrayal at House on the Hill, but it's got a legacy system where the game changes more, so it kind of keeps you, because the original like Betrayal at House on the Hill, if you play it like 9 or 10 times, it's going to get stale. Like the first half of the game isn't quite as fun. You're just waiting for that turn, and then everybody's looking at each other and they know what to expect for betrayal, for the traitor. Yeah. So the first like 4 or 5 games are excellent, but when you have the legacy aspect, it really changes the game up quite a bit. And then there was also Betrayal at Baldur's Gate, which I think Wintmay just mentioned earlier, is another great version because it takes place in that Forgotten Realms setting.
So it's one of those. See, that's what I wondered about. Is one of those games that like different game obviously, but like Clank or the one you guys are playing right now. My brain just went blank. Codenames.
Oh, Codenames app is so good.
Where you
Everybody
can
should check it out.
Yeah, we gotta. I just finally installed it. You guys look like you're having too much fun, so I got to get in. But yeah, I like a game that you can change the setting and apply the rules. I think that's fun.
Yep.
And so you can
But what's
always
good about Clank too is they have Clank Legacy, they have Acquisitions Incorporated version of Clank. They've got Clank in Space, which is really good, and then Clank Catacombs, which changes it up.
Catacombs, right? That's the one that adds 6-player to it?
Well, Clank Catacombs, I think the newer expansion might add to 5 or 6 players, but
Yeah.
what Clank Catacombs does is make it more modular, where you have the board, like the tiles that go out, so it changes the dungeon every time. Clank is great and all, but some of the things that it changes, it doesn't change enough. Like the cards are great to have extra cards for Clank, regular Clank with the expansion, but the dungeon never really changes. Clank Catacombs changes the dungeon every single time, which is amazing.
Wow. All right. Well, that's awesome. I'm stoked to play this. All right, let's get to some of your recommendations. We got the holidays coming up. Christmas is right around the corner. I see you got at least 2 big recommendations. Let's talk about them.
Yep. So I've got a couple that I threw in our chat here in Discord, but I've got a big coming up this week on Major Spoilers where I do Munchkin Land. I've got the Munchkin Minute where I talk about a whole bunch of games for my holiday gift giving recommendation or holiday just buying recommendation. I want to mention a couple to you guys because I know that if I remember correctly, you guys are enjoyable family men who have large gatherings over the holidays. So if anybody out there that has large holiday gatherings that just like to play some games, first one I want to mention is a card game named Trio. This was originally called Nana, I think, when it was released over, I think it was either Korean or Chinese, released, but now it's released over here called Trio. Now this is a card game where you have cards from, I don't think it's 0 to 12, I think it's 1 to 12 in your hand, and you're going to get a certain amount of cards depending how many players you have. So you're gonna have cards in your hand, and you have to arrange them from the lowest to highest. And then let's just say the 3 of us are playing. We would have like maybe 7 cards each from 1 to 12 in our hands, and then there would be a certain amount of cards face down. So it has a memory element. So on my turn, I get 2 things to say. I could say, Brian, show me your lowest card. Now Brian will flip over maybe a 2. This is lowest. Now I'm trying to find a trio of these cards. So I may say, all right, Scott, show me your lowest cards. And Scott flips over a 1. My turn is over. All right. So now Scott goes, and Scott knows he's got a 1 in his hand, and he knows, because he just flipped over the 1. He knows Brian has a 2. So you're either asking basically, show me your highest or show me your lowest. Now maybe he's going to be like, Dan, show me your lowest card, and I flip out a 2. And now he's going to go, okay, Brian, show me your lowest card. Now Brian flips out to 2, and now he's got to find a 2. Now Scott knows he only has a 1 in his hand, so he can't ask himself. He can either ask one of us to now show our current lowest card to try and find a third 2, or the cards that are out face down on the table. Yeah, you're trying to find that 2. So you're flipping that over, and then I'll flip over an 8. Scott picks a card, flips over an 8. So he doesn't get it, he flips it down. Now Brian knows that he's got a 2. I've got a 2 as my lowest. And now Brian may go, all right, so I'm going to flip over another card. Obviously, he's not going to flip over the 8. He's going to try to flip over one of the other middle cards.
Yeah, hope.
Yeah. Or what sometimes happens is Brian actually secretly has 2 2s. He's going to be like, all right, Dan, show me your lowest. I flip over a 2. And then Brian goes, all right, Brian, show me your lowest. And you flip over both your 2s. You got a trio. And now it goes back to me. You're basically, it's this whole memory type game, but it's just so easy to teach. And it's another one of these games where it plays in like 5 to 10 minutes that by the time you're done, it's the ultimate grandma, let's just play. It has that grandma that's like, let's just play. And my mom does this all the time. Let's just play. So this is the game where you can just play. And after you play the first game, you're like, all right, shuffle up and do it again. And then you're just playing again. And you just want to play it over and over. It's such a fun, easy to learn game.
Go ahead, Brian.
It looks like they've got different art too. It looks like the Japanese version has these cool little hand-drawn cats and dogs and birds, but then there's like this skull, sugar skull,
kind of Day of the Dead
skull one
vibe.
is all the trio art, and the other one is the Nana art.
Yeah, and the trio art is very like Day of the Dead, kind of. I don't know I guess the word trio has its origins in Latin. Anyway.
Yeah, well, it's like we always like to laugh about the first thing. There are people that are attracted to theme, and there are people that are attracted to gameplay, and then it's just like whatever theme. You're just like
here's a thing.
We got things playing on our
I'm
cards.
such a fan though. I love, and this isn't. I'm not just saying I like simple games, but I love games that are like that, where Grandma says, "Let's just play it," and you play it, and everyone gets it. That's great in its own way, but then the depth comes later. And there's still depth. And this thing is literally, the box says 36 cards in a rule book. That's it. That's the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Love that.
This is the ultimate Johnson game.
Yeah,
the
dude.
ultimate.
I'm in.
Feels like it, yeah,
I'm all in. Sounds fan freaking tastic. It's also
and
so
it's
the-
in a pocket. You can bring it somewhere and play it when you're just, like, we're waiting in line for something. Let's play a quick game of Trio.
Yeah, exactly. And
Oh
it's-
yeah, I mean you could play this at the airport waiting to board. You're just sitting there, and hell, you could probably just grab two strangers and be like, "Hey, you want to play a game? Let's go."
Yeah,
Let's play.
maybe they named it Nana because somebody's grandma kept saying, "Let's just play." The original name.
Could be.
But Trio is for people who want to have a threesome. All right, just kidding. Hey, Dan, let's talk about the next one. I see another queued up
So
one
I got
here.
another kind of card game. It's kind of like a next step in this card game evolution, but still really fun. This is also cooperative. This one is called The Gang. This was kind of a new hotness around Gen Con. I don't think I mentioned this one in the past, but I may have, so I apologize if I did. But what this is this takes Texas Hold'em to kind of a different level where you're not actually playing against each other. Everybody has a hand and you're going to play Texas Hold'em. However, the whole point of the game is you're trying to figure out who's going to have the best and who's going to have the worst hands by the end of the game. So you're kind of betting as a group into who will have the best hand as the cards come out. Seems like a really weird thing, but in playing, it is actually pretty cool because you're like each round, depending on how things come out, you're going to change the betting a little bit. And then you're trying to refine how, whether, when Scott before the hand, we may have thought that he was going to have the best hand. And then when it turns out at the very end, no, you actually had the worst hand. So then your scoring is going to be changing a little bit there. It's another one where it's not that hard to play. And again, only plays about 15 to 20 minutes. And then you're going to shuffle up. You're like, all right, so now we get it. Let's try again. Let's try and beat our last.
So how much RNG is involved in that? Like, is it all guesswork as to who's going to have the best hand? Because they don't know either, right?
And you really can't, you're really not revealing anything to each other because you can't really talk. So as you're betting on yourself and each other, kind of, you're seeing how strong their initial hand really. So you're really trying to guess. So it's really good for people that are able to guess, like, without even looking at somebody's hand, guessing what they have. So as you're kind of seeing what chip they're putting out, you're like, oh, well, this card just came out, and now all of a sudden they don't think they have the strongest hand anymore.
So they might not have gotten the straight they were hoping for. Yeah, because I was just gonna say the three cards that are out, like a Texas Hold'em hand, change the value of your hand immediately. So like you could go from having a crap hand to all of a sudden, oh no, I've got three of a kind. Damn.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd have
or you think you've got an amazing hand in the works and something hits and you're like, well shit, if I don't have that third card, I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah, well, you have those pocket aces, and suddenly 2 4s come out, and then all of a sudden somebody else's hand is way stronger than yours.
Right.
I love this face card art. I know it's just standard, king, queen, jack stuff, but it's very cool. And it also reminds me, like, we are having a year right now. I don't know when this game came out, but we're having a moment where taking poker cards and changing things around, like Balaltro, and there's others like this. Is like all the rage right now, and so this seems like perfect time to play a game like this. It's like
this was new for this year too. This is a 2024 release, but for years and years, I don't know if it's as much anymore, but for years there were, Bicycle and these other card companies, they just made a killing by putting out different just regular playing cards with pictures on the back. Like just think about it, Scott. Just put the can on the back of a card deck, and you just throw it out there, and people make a living off of just putting different art on the back of playing cards.
It's funny you say that. I actually have a Fred and Can deck that's almost done. It's funny you said that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, just a standard poker deck, but it's just waiting for a couple pieces of art, and then that thing's done.
It may not break like the $1 million mark, but you make enough to just keep doing more and just keep having good returns.
Yeah,
that's
I love it.
It's not quite crypto, bro. But,
no, it's not like banana crypto, bro.
Yeah.
Well, this is great. As always, great recommendations. Again, those two games are Trio, and the other is The Gang. And are these fairly easy to find retail? Do you have to get them online or?
So Trio you can find pretty much anywhere. The Gang you may have to look on Amazon. One of the best places to find games, especially this time of year too. If you have a Barnes and Noble that has a good selection, obviously a lot of the mass market stores have some great games in them, like Target and stuff. Have some amazing games. Like I always talk about Green Team Wins and Landmarks and River Valley Glassworks for your amazing gateway and good holiday games. There should all be able to be found probably at Target, but places like Barnes and Noble, you should be able to find Trio and Scout, which is another amazing card game. Like those, that's one of the things that I love now is like these holiday feeling of just grab a card game and play, because
Yeah.
they're usually not hard. There's a lot of different ways, whether it's a ladder climbing or trick taking, or just kind of like your phase 10 like game. There's a lot of those different types of card games, and you find them all at Barnes & Noble. And a lot of times they have sales like crazy at Barnes & Noble. They have a huge selection of just regular board games and stuff. But when you go in there and you check out like what they have for like 75% off, or they're always sending out coupons and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the best way to get those type of games at Barnes & Noble.
We were in there recently, and they had tons of sales on board games, just tons. Like it was almost too much. I was like, I don't even know where to start in here. And I just went.
Well, if you ever have a question about was this any good and it's on sale, just text me, Johnson. I'm always around.
All right, Johnson text incoming. Wait, what?
Right.
Dan, it's always a pleasure. Tell people where they can find more of you and your fine work.
So what I always like to say is, if you're ever, I know this is holiday season, so if you're ever going to grandma or grandpa's house and you got like 3 or 4 hours to kill, our latest Geek All Stars, 2.5 hours of me and Riddle just talking about holidays and what we did over Thanksgiving and Christmas, and talking about all sorts of gift giving, and then we squeeze in some board game talk as well. We talk about what we've been watching, and of course, if you like Hallmark movies, for whatever reason I can't stop talking about stupid Hallmark movies because I love them to death. And we talk about that a little bit on there. It's a great way to kill 2.5 hours. Also, I've got this week, like I mentioned, on the Major Spoilers Network, I've got a new Munchkin Minute coming up where I talk about all great games and a bunch that I didn't mention today for holiday gift giving and for buying and such like that. So check out Munchkin Land on the Major Spoilers Network.
Nice.
And if you ever have any recommendations you need, find me, Geek Jock Dan, on Twitter. I'd be on the other places, but I'm just old and lazy, and it's not for anything else. It's not political. I just refuse to get more social media.
No, I get it.
It's unbelievable.
I get it.
So
It's a
with you on
pain.
that,
You
yeah.
might really, if you ever do get bored and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to quickly do a little blue sky business. They make it so easy over there. It is freaking great.
Yeah.
It's really,
really?
great.
Oh,
I love it. I'll send you a couple of
worth-
notes on it.
Yeah.
Because it's worth doing.
It's worth
Threads is kind of a nightmare right now, but not for the same
I
reasons.
reserved my handle on. I'd say where I reserved my handle. I reserved the Geek All Stars because Geek Jock was taken, but I reserved the Geek All Stars on Blue Sky. So, at some point, if you want to help getting me over to Blue Sky, go ahead and follow me over there. The more, because that's another daunting thing. You're like, oh my god, I got no followers. Like, who am I going to talk to?
Yeah, the starting is daunting. Also, what makes it easier is knowing how many of the accounts you think are following you on X are either dead or bots now, because there's a lot of that going on. But these starter packs, suddenly you'll get hundreds and hundreds, and it'll just go nuts from there.
It's so easy.
Yeah, it's crazy. But also,
nice.
The other thing I was going to say, it lets you tie your domain to your username. So if you wanted to be the geekjockallstars.com, whatever domain you own, you can tie your
geekallstars.com.
that will be your name if you want it to be, and you won't lose it. You won't lose anybody in that transition, or even if you changed it again, all your followers still say. But you can it's basically self-verification. So you can say, well, I own this domain. I am the Dan, not just some rando pretending to be me. So it works out pretty good. Anyway, we'll talk.
The good thing about not to harp on X anymore, but when you curate like what you like and everything else, all I see all day long, and people probably that follow me will see this because I tweet it all the time, I just see like puppy videos and cat, like that's just what I see all day long is. So like when you curate it enough, even though you follow a bazillion people, like it's good to see some of those good heartwarming follows.
Yeah,
it is all my Instagram feed is just videos of black cats doing weird things.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Yep, that's what you want. You gotta hone it, man. Sharpen it to a fine tip. Dan, take it easy. Go help that guy with the laser shits, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, boys.
Sitting in seat C23.
Laser shits.
Can you imagine? Ugh, what a nightmare.
No, I can't imagine. I mean, you talk about pooping on a plane. I can't imagine anything worse than having that situation on a plane.
I just don't ever want to be the guy. Like this norovirus is so comes on all so suddenly. Anybody on a plane who suddenly gets hit with the norovirus, they're gonna have to. They got a problem. You're gonna barf and poop your way to oblivion. Anyway,
yep.
I don't ever want to be that guy. All right, quick thing I wanted to mention: details soon on the official TMS 30-second film festival.
Yay!
Very excited about this. Brian's idea of taking fake origin stories of TMS memes of any of your choosing is going to be our theme. And you can be very loose with the theme, very creative.
I mean, right, fake origin or a weird use of it that we never even thought of, or whatever.
Yeah, you know the story about you can eat rice, but you could have a completely apocryphal telling of that story, whatever you want.
Exactly. Yes.
So we're going to have more details up soon. A little website for it. I got that half done, and that'll be probably in the next couple of weeks. Because I think it's something we're going to kind of coincide it with the
Sundance.
Just as a theme. So,
and we'll have Robert Redford actually judging your videos too.
Oh, hell yeah.
Didn't know if we announced that.
Yeah. You'll see, and you'll accidentally see Brad Pitt at a bar or something like that.
Right.
It'll be great. All right, that's it for today's show. frogpants.com/TMS for all the stuff you might need. It is Tuesday, which means, what does it mean today? It means nothing today.
It means nothing.
No. I like Tuesdays because I don't have a ton of stuff. I have Greg next week. Today I don't.
To me, it means the last puzzle pint of the year, and they normally have your base set of puzzles and then a meta puzzle, right, that ties all the previous answers from the previous puzzle together in a really cool and creative way. Tonight, they have the base set of puzzles, the meta puzzle, and then the meta puzzle, which ties all answers from all 12 meta puzzles throughout the year all into one puzzle.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Like, they think that far ahead to make the end of year puzzle the meta of all of the answers to all 12.
That is
puzzles.
Wild. I didn't know that. Is that every year? I guess probably so.
Every year. And it's insane that they've thought that far ahead or think about it that way, that they've got it all figured out.
They do anything else special for food or drinking or anything? Is it just sort of like
no, because it's always at a different place. So
that's right.
You never, tonight it's at a brew house that has empanadas, which sound amazing. And it's in South Denver, but Wes, Burgess Meredith, Burgess Diesel.
Burgess Meredith, back from the dead.
Burgess Meredith.
Woo!
That's right.
Hey, Rock, when are we going to the brew house? Rock, I told you, Rock. Anyway,
Burgess Diesel is going to be coming down and meeting us there, so we'll have a little bit of extra brain power to tackle that puzzle.
Nice. That's great. We'll have fun at that. We'll report on that tomorrow. We'll have a regular show tomorrow. We got recommendals and Tom and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
So come back for that. That'll do it for us today, though. Brian, let's play a song on our way out.
Okay, well, this is going out to Mark Heath, who says, I turned 52 on December 7th, a day that will live in infamy. Unfortunately, it's on a Saturday, and you guys refuse to do a show on the weekend. Any day will work, thanks.
Wow.
Happy birthday.
Sorry, you get the old lady for that one.
That's right, for that snark.
Yeah.
We don't even know. Oh, no, I guess you did. You turned 52. Well, happy birthday, Mark. Hope you had a great birthday. And he said, any song by Cake or a cover of a Cake song? Well, let's go with a Cake cover. This is a bit of a rare one because not a lot of people know about this soundtrack. They might know about this game. They were back in the, was it early 2000s? There was a game, platformer called Stubbs the Zombie. I guess it wasn't a platformer. It was a 3D
kind of a
third-person 3D game,
third-person action adventure kind of thing. But people, there is a fandom for Stubbs the Zombie that is unbelievable. How much they're into it,
and I can see why. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cake contributed a song to the soundtrack, which was all older songs done by newer artists. It's a great soundtrack, by the way. So good. They contributed Strangers in the Night, originally by Burt Camford, Strangers in the Night. But you think of Sinatra, of course, when you think of that song.
Sure.
Here is Cake covering Strangers in the Night.
Oh, my Lord. All right, that's it. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday. We'll see you then.
Those pants are made for frogging, if you know what I mean. I actually don't. frogpants.com.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
That's right. Peace and love.
Peace and love.